Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Get ready for another exciting episode of the Noob game programming documentary, episode 2. Um, Let me open my project and let me show you what I've got so far. It's runs like this. So here we have it. Picture like of a castle I stole somewhere from Google image search, and 4 variables printed to the screen. That's not going to be in the game, that's just for development purposes. Ooh, click counter, that's always very useful. And we have 2 buttons with no text, just brown bars. One of them does absolutely nothing and the other one starts the game. And there's nothing in the game, it's just a grey nothingness with a black square. But the black square can move. That is the player object I've declared. And whenever I click on the screen, it'll move in a 45-degree angle. Not exactly, really. It moves in isometric grid. So you'll notice that it moves further when I click to the left and right of it, and shorter when I click up and down. And but it all should be consistent within an isometric grid. And that's basically all that the game does so far. So we are at the very beginning, and that's really where I wanted to start. I wanted to show how this thing started, and is starting, yeah, because it hasn't really gone anything anywhere yet. So what am I doing here? Well, I don't really have any design documents like fancy corporations that develop big bucks video games have. I'm just yeah, he's making it up as he goes along. Well, I have some objects here that I want to show you. I have my object control, and it has 4 events. They listed here: create, step, global, press, left pressed, and draw. The create event is things that'll happen when the object is created, and it'll happen every time the object is created. But it will only happen once, because I've clicked it to be a persistent object, and I'm only going to put it in my very first room. Because it's persistent, it'll transfer over to all the following rooms that'll be opened, and so I only really need to create it once. And what will happen in that event step, or event create, is that I define some variables. Because if I want to use a variable, it's good to have told the program that I want to use these variables. These are my own user-defined variables. The game also has some built-in variables. Yeah. And I have a draw event. Draw event is what outputs the text to the screen. It uses the draw text function, which takes an x coordinate, a y coordinate, and then whatever's supposed to write on the screen. And what it writes here is it writes some text, current room number. That's just exactly what's going to appear. And there's this short function here, string. It's going to make some text out of a variable room, which is the built-in variable for room, which just tells which room number we're in. Then I have the var 8 direction, which really tells which direction we're going to move the player object in. I'm going to write what that is chosen for as. Angle to the mouse. It takes a function that finds the angle which from an object, from the object player x and y coordinates to the mouse x and y coordinates. And then there's a clicker. Yeah, very useful to have. On the global left press, that is global in this is the mouse event, and global means that it will activate if I click the mouse anywhere within the game window. If I'd used this event instead, mouse left pressed, then it will only activate if the mouse was hovering over. Let's see, this was the button, for example, the cancel button. It will only work if a mouse is above the button. If I have anywhere else and click it, then nothing's going to happen. But I wanted this one to work wherever I pressed. And what that does is it sets some variables. It adds one to the mouse clicker. It tells the program I've clicked the mouse once. So the counter will be advanced. Then it sets the direction in a variable in degrees. Then I translate, or I change that degree into one of the 8 directions that I want to move in, and I do that by use the round function. I divide my variable with the degree number in degrees by 45. That 45 times 8 equals 360, so that's why I use that number. And then I add 1 because I like number 1 to 8 instead of, I could also just use 0 to 7. That will work just as well. It's just in my head it seems nicer. And yeah, there's a bit when I use this function. It can also become 9, and it can only become 9 when it's very close to 0 degrees, or 360 really. But then I just I set it to 1. So if it is 9, make it 1. I can do that. And then it sets var is moving to 1. It means we are going to move. And var steps to go is I want to make the movement in 16 small increments to make it seem like a fluid movement. It's just going from one point to the other. I'm going 16 small steps to make it seem like movement rather than just teleporting. Okay, then we have step event, and step event we have this. We check first: are we moving? If we're not moving, then we'll not do any of the following. We'll do nothing here. If we are moving, then we're going to this switch, and the switch works sort of like an if statement, but it checks for a lot of different possibilities of the variable that it's checking. It checks if it's case 1 is var direction equal to 1. If not, is it equal to 2? If not, is it equal to 3? And so on. And let's say it is equal to 3, then we'll say okay, equal to 3, we'll do this, and then we'll use the break, and that means we'll not check case 4, 5, 6, and so on. It breaks out of the testing. And then we have, when the switch ends here, the subtract 1 from the var steps to go. Minus equals 1 means basically taking var steps 1, making it equal to var steps 1 minus 1. Then we have another. If we ask, are we finished with the steps to go? Have we done it 16 times yet? We subtract 1 here. We set to 16 when we started moving, and every time we do this, we subtract 1, and when it reaches 0, we stop moving. We say var is moving becomes 0, so we're not moving anymore. 0 is false, not true. And yeah, these small lines here in red, they just basically changing the x and y coordinates by small increments every time that we run through this switch. There are some built-in functions for moving around in the Game Maker Studio. I couldn't figure out how to make it work, so I just built this. There's probably better, cleaner ways to do it, but it works for now. So that's how we're going to do it. And yeah, we'll see. And I think that's what I want to talk about for this video. Hopefully you've found it a little bit interesting, maybe entertaining, and I hope that you'll be back and see more next time.